All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. We got an exciting holiday week ahead of us, and even though it's a short week, we got a ton of data, and thankfully, we don't have to wait long. The first catalyst is tomorrow. So, Chad, I got a breakdown. We're going to talk about what we have to deal with this week, but let me give you the fun fact. I always bring this up around Thanksgiving. Shout out all the OG subscribers, man, for real. If you've been subscribed, liking the video on the stream, showing love, God bless you, because this should be familiar. Thursday and Friday, the market is closed on Thursday because of Thanksgiving, and on Friday, the market is a half day, but the whole week leading up into it, the volume is usually 50% lower, so it's going to be a slow week, and if you ever hung out with the Chad, we usually do a turkey cutting live on stream for Thanksgiving, so we'll see you there, but in general, we have this data. We are coming off of a crazy rally. It has been 14 of the last 15 days green. We've been dealing with a lot of people saying the bonds, do we miss the TLT? What's happened is the TLT is going to go crazy. There's so much at hand. We get a breather here with the holiday, but there is still a calendar. So, Chad, I'm going to go over all of that. I got a couple of plays. Other than that, should be a chill week. We'll see you there live on stream. But now I need a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. YouTube.com/stock market. And run it, baby.
Walking to the couch, it's a 2020 election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a live, but I still reinvest it. Feel how I feel, then you feel it's a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it.
Right off the bat, I almost forgot, but it looks ugly now. They moved us to Charles Schwab, but the random play, baby. Today's Sunday, tomorrow's Monday. If you're watching this video, do us a favor and post a random option trade in the comment section below. Tomorrow morning, we're going to pick a random account. It's on this account. You can't, again, they messed it all up. They messed it all up for us, but either way, thank you for participating. But now, let's talk about this week. I'm sure we could get around the whole rally and everything else. There's still a very big debate out there in the market. What happened in the bonds and holding up this rally the way we closed on Friday? Remember, we were talking about, was this just a short squeeze or not? Well, this was a really good sign, and now it does lead into what we have to deal with tomorrow. So the best part, like I told you, the first catalyst is tomorrow on Monday. That's before anything slows down and the markets want to get in holiday mode. What we will be dealing with tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, it is the 20-year bond auction. I got to smile. These are the moments where I wish you could see my face. Why would I be smiling right now? Because remember, it was just about a couple of weeks ago, we were making these watch lists and we were coming right to around 1 o'clock Eastern time, and then the market was making big shifts. This was like, what, 2 weeks ago or so? I think it was even before we had all of that rally, and that was a result of the 10-year and 30-year bond auction. Remember, we were talking about everybody making a big deal and hyping it up. Well, that's what's interesting. We actually have way more than just the bond auction this week. Nothing to the scale of the CPI or the non-farms or Powell, and that's what we are really waiting for. But for the most part, you are not getting as much hype on the 20-year bond auction. So that is good news. Why that's good news? Because last time everybody was focused on this, it led to everybody giving outsized attention to the bond auctions, and then it came in bad. And the last time the bonds moved as big as March of 2020, it was the last 30-year bond auction because it got people off guard. That was just recently. So tomorrow, this is going to be a big deal, and now it's very simple. If it comes in higher, yields come in higher, that won't be good. If they come in lower, that will be extremely bullish. Oh, yes, extremely bullish. And now here's the meat of the bone. This is the good stuff. This is why you watch the watch list. The 20-year bond is new. It has only been around for 3 years, and traditionally, of the last 3 years, the demand on the 20-year bond auction is very poor. People do not show up. It is not as if the 20-year bond auction attracts a lot of demand. So this is why it's going to be interesting, because this time it's not as hyped up. We have this short week. It's going to be the only event, but now it usually comes in bad. So if it comes in bad again with how everybody was paranoid last time, how will they respond this week, tomorrow? That's the best part. We don't have to wait long, but now even better, if that does Now, even better, if there is demand and there actually is a lower yield on this auction and the auction that's supposed to be bad comes in good, well, that whole everybody rushing to the bonds, that may be a very good sign for the bond market, and the market may like it. That's why I'm saying it could be very bullish. So it's going to be an interesting event, and thankfully, we don't have to wait long. That's the third time I've already said that, but that's the good news. And now for the rest of the week, we are going to get a lot of other stuff. You could go through the calendar. I'll read it off. You got the Fed minutes, and maybe this is the order of operations. You got 20-year bond auction. That's tomorrow. Then we got the Fed minutes on Tuesday or Wednesday. Then there's Japan CPI, and if you've been watching the bonds, even the yen, you could go take a look at YCO. This will be important, just especially with how anything related to bonds has been moving. This data will be key, especially towards the end of the year. And then you got good old NVDA earnings as well. That's going to be another one. And then you get the rest of the economic data. So if you go through, I think it's like Wednesday, Thursday, it's durable goods, S&P PMI, services and manufacturing. That'll be important. Tuesday, you're going to get real estate data, existing home sale. And there's the minutes. And then I think it is on Wednesday, I believe. Yes, right here, you're going to get the final reading for the Michigan consumer sentiment. Remember, last time came in pretty hot on the preliminary. This is related to inflation, so maybe it'll move things, and then you get the holiday, and then Friday market is going to be closing earlier, but it will still be open. So like I told you, it's a pretty eventful week for the holiday. The only thing about it, I gave you that little order of operations. The things of this week aren't that important. Maybe Japan CPI is able to really take over, and that becomes the most important thing. We'll see what happens with the bond auction. It has the ability to end up green. The Fed minutes, it should be very delayed, especially with all of the Fed speakers that we have already heard from. And then the rest of the data, it has the ability to move the bonds, but there is bigger follow-up data along the way. So it's going to be wild. We'll see how it all goes in context of the low volume, and then we will see what happens as we wrap up November. And that's it, man. It's almost Christmas, and that's it. It's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. But let us get into the plays. So, right off the bat, I got a couple of different plays. We made a couple of plays last week, but some were more focused on the trades. And one thing, even from last week, the data events, I really think you'll get bigger moves. So, I'd be cautious. We were talking about taking a breather. If you're looking for any trades, some people on Friday, they're like, I want to make a big gamble. Look at the market. Just look how it's staying pinned there. You might want to just wait till the data event. So, we'll see what tomorrow provides in terms of trades. You could go for the bonds, the S&P. Like we said, last time we saw a crazy bond auction, there was a pretty big reaction. Some of you had a nice day on that day, so we'll watch how that plays out. Other than that, I would draw slow, homie. We played that on the Twitch if you were there. But as far as the plays, though, beyond any data plays, I will keep my eye out for. I got to start with NVIDIA, biggest earnings, man. But last time, they were at the same price, relatively speaking, and they did very good, and then they came down. So this will be key, but there's a lot of other sympathies. Watch for the broader sentiment. I think that'll speak to things, especially towards the end of the year, and if people are feeling good, and if the data also leads to more bullishness, kind of view it as the bellwether. They need to have good earnings, and then you also need the market to do good, because last time they had good earnings, the market wasn't hyped. They held up, but it's the difference between, continuing the crazy or not. So watching out for NVIDIA. That earnings is going to be big. That is play number one. Then play number two, Tesla. And why? Because the end of the year Elon hate articles are out. So I don't know what I'm going to make of it all, but I do think it could be a good opportunity to trade. You might get back and forth, but it's going to be headline driven. That means there's a lot of gap ups, a lot of gap downs, a lot of random movements. But the point is, Tesla, from Cybertruck to conflict, it's getting kind of in the news cycle a lot. So towards the end of the year, I think I'm going to watch this one. And even during the Thanksgiving, I feel like we've seen a lot of crazy stuff around this time in the end of the year. And when it's low volume, we'll see what the headlines end up doing with certain stocks that are in the middle of all of it. So watch out for Tesla. That is play number two. Then finally, play number three, Microsoft and Google. And this one's weird. On Friday, Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, they kicked him out of the company. The board got rid of him. There's a lot of new information that came out over the weekend. Apparently, he was like talking to people, raising investments for like another chip company and doing all sorts of things. And then they got rid of him. And then now the CEO of Microsoft, they want him back. And then like he's at the office again. And now they're trying to get him back. And then they want the board to resign. So it's a lot of drama. But on the day, what ended up happening, Microsoft, they dropped 2% when we got that news. It was very wild. And then Google, they went up. Again, OpenAI competing. They only have to deal with Microsoft. It makes sense why Google would go up. So we're probably going to hear some headlines over this over the next couple of days. Again, low volume environment. If it is going to be getting headlines, watch out for it. But also don't get pump faked. If the moves, they don't unleash the moves and you get the pin, you got to be careful. But besides that, going to be watching the bond play. I'm still in one of those from the CPI, so going to maybe look to close it. Otherwise, we'll ride out this week if we still got that. But I don't think too much will happen, so I think it'll be a chill week. We'll take in the data, but now that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. And I need you to remember, man, even without the holidays, always be thankful, bro. It is one of the best things. You know, you want to live life, bro. I'm telling you, gratitude for the littlest thing and being thankful, man. Even if you're in the market, you got the ability to learn. I know finances, there's a lot of things go up and down. It's progress, but Chattadonia, for real, man, bring that thankfulness into next year. Holidays are always a reminder, but man, before and after, always in your heart. So I love all the holidays. I like the bigger meanings, man, but God bless you. Thank you all for everything, and I will see you in the morning. And horn.